Well, folks, welcome back to the Funeralcare European Masters 2017, kindly hosted by Blackpool Newton Hall Holiday Park, part of the Partington's Holiday Group. And we have reached a quarter-final stage. And there are games going on still outside the streamed rink. And at the moment, just to let you know the other games that are on, we've got Simon Skelton's playing Scott Bishop, Paul Hartley's playing Brian Hawkins, and Trevor Taylor's playing Wayne Wilgress. And the other quarter-final is the one that's on your screen in front of you, which is Billy Jackson versus Martin Williamson. Well, there's no introducing Billy Jackson. Most people will have seen him at some point in time if you're a supporter of bowls. Former world champion, former world pairs champion with David Gawley. Super Bowl champion here a few years back, and also has won a tour card. Back to try and win another. Likes this rink. Got through on a one-bowl shootout against Michael Layden on rink 6 earlier today. And on rink 7 was Martin Williamson, the gentleman out there with the yellow bowls.
2 inches short. The other side, your bowl. Your bowl is 6 inches short.
Martin Williamson beat me in the first round. We tied the first set and he won the second set 9-8. Won by one shot, but he played exceptionally well in the second set. It's the first time played against him with these yellow bowls, but he did lead very well to his own jack in the second set, so it's going to be an interesting game to call this. And the nice thing is that when the marker calls 1 yellow or 2 yellow, it will be with the yellow bowls. Martin's the manager of Ardrossan Indoor Bowling Club. Of course, that's his indoor club.
2 red. 2 red.
The Scottish singles runner-up in 2015 and 16. Represented Scotland both indoors and outdoors. Plays with Taylor bowls. The Taylor bowls, the yellow bowls. And of course, Billy Jackson, well known for being a part of the Henselite camp. Does play with different sets of Henselite bowls, tends to prefer to play with his Tigers or Tiger Pros.
Two shots, Billy Jackson.
And a crowd favourite here is Billy. He only brings his son with him. I haven't seen Ryan today, but they won the Federation National Pairs. Father and son. Of course, son carried father. Can say that. Billy's out there and I'm in the commentary box. Great sense of humour. See Mr. Kearsley sat in watching. Big supporter of bowls. Mr. Kearsley from the Partington's Holiday Group. The boss. He'll be in to watch some bowls. He gets on well with Billy. Martin's on a very good track here. Touch on the jack. We'll see Billy play down this side of the rink on most occasions unless he's forced otherwise. Likes this side of the rink. Very consistent big swing off that hand.
One red.
A few people watching on the live Facebook. I'd like to thank everybody that's getting involved on that. It's our first venture into live Facebook streaming at this event. It seems to be going down great guns.
One yellow. One yellow.
Bit of a loose end from both players here. I think as the dust settles it might just be the one yellow.
One shot. Martin Williamson.
Gets Martin on the card. 2-1 to Billy Jackson. Scratching his head. Just having a bit of a thought, having a look at the bowls. See a lot of the top players doing that, just checking what bowls their opponent's playing with.
Jack high.
Well, Billy needs to make it back to centre. It's not going to be short though, gives him options later on. Very aggressive player. Billy won't let a head build up against him. It's on a good track here, Martin. So he did draw very well to his own jack in the game against me. He does skip a bit, but certainly seems to be a very good lead player. Here you go, Billy Jackson, always looking at the aggressive shot. Oh, very close, toucher in the ditch. Marker umpire for this game, Tony Hatch just marking that.
Just a fraction past jack high.
Looks like he's running out of steam here. Probably will be enough for 3 at the moment.
3 yellow.
Oh, that's not made it any easier for Billy. Won't be able to go firmer here. He's got to either choose to do a timer or just try and get second bowl in. And playing the timer again, close here. Needs to slip past that bowl. He got wrecked on it. Thought that might have been in a bad position for Billy's aggressive shots.
Two yellow.
And Martin, chance to put even more pressure on Billy. Wizard at Jackson. Billy's going up to have a look at this now.
Three yellow.
Again, the toucher in the ditch. Only just missed it because of clipping the short bowl. There you see the toucher in the ditch. A wonderful view of ditch cam. Still playing it, but playing it off the other hand. This has got to move. It'll just hang off here. 3 down. So I mentioned Billy does tend to play the more aggressive game. Some of us would have thought to just try and get second bowl in there when second bowl was a yard away, but Billy always banks on himself to get these runners. And Martin, as I mentioned, neat draw player, so that could be the difference in this game as the game goes on. Well, there you go, that just proves Mr. Jackson can draw. Martin playing this short length jack. In the area, very close here.
One red.
On a great track again, Billy.
Two red.
It's made two. Might force Martin
Last
to be a
ball.
little bit more aggressive here.
12 inches.
It'll have set up from the mat end to look like quite a decent target. In the area, very close here. 1-2. And great ball from Martin there.
One yellow.
Okay. It's just gone out. Tony Hatch will tell us shortly.
One yellow.
That's certainly shot.
8 inches.
Just asking how far behind the jack that bowl's finished. There you go, classic example of a Billy Jackson reaching bowl. 2
Two
down
shots. Billy
for
Jackson.
Martin Williamson from holding shot. Billy Jackson ties it all up 4 across.
Either or, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, that's it, yeah, sure.
When it started to break, I thought it was near the jack.
Three shots. Billy Jackson.
Oh, there's a correction there from Tony Hatch. Certainly looked like 2 shots, but he's just reaffirmed it being 3 shots there. Thanks for the confirmation there, Tony. It was 3 shots to Billy. Fantastic result if it was that much of a turnaround. It certainly looked like 2 from our camera angle. Certainly a wide swinging hand this. It'll make it all the way back.
One yellow.
Just short.
9 inches. Short.
My nearest off a length, please.
Sorry, Billy.
My nearest bowl from a length.
Your nearest bowl. lengthwise is 10 inches.
Oh, great bowl back from Martin
yellow.
Williamson. He's got a reply for Billy at the time he needs to have. Billy went for it again. He's left Martin a bit of room to score a 3 here.
Two shots, Martin Williamson.
Be disappointed he didn't take the opportunity there to get another in. Turning into a very interesting game, this. Billy's certainly going for all the big shots. Loose out there from Martin. Now, Billy, can you make the most of this? Billy just got to drop a yard off his forehand draw here. Looks very close with this.
One red. Sorry, Martin. Your last ball. 7 inches past.
Done a very good track here, Martin. If it just runs a touch, I think he's just underweighted it. Great track from Billy. Just overplayed it.
One rate.
Might force Martin to reach to this now. The ball of Billy Jackson's is just behind Jack.
No point moaning, is it? No point moaning anyway.
Billy's never afraid to have a natter with one of the cameramen. Like Dave behind there. Big supporter of all the events here, Dave. He does a lot of work for the club. Not suffered the best of health just recently. As soon as he was back fit, he was wanting to get involved again. Oh, Martin's got a bit of fortune there. He apologises to Billy. He was in the area. Oh, great. Last ball from Billy there. Evens the scores up after 6 ends at 6-all.
One shot, Billy Jackson.
What do you reckon? What do you do?
Down a very good line here. Like I say, Billy prefers to play this side of the rink both directions unless forced otherwise. True hand, just get the right line. I think this is struggling to reach. Billy will be in again. Down that backhand. Getting down to the nitty gritty end of a 9-end set once you get to end 7. I think Billy's first round opponents just arrived at the venue to watch. That with his good lady wife.
Gap between the balls and the jack. Okay, the front one is a gap of 3 inches, and the back one just over 2.5 inches.
Speaking to Michael Layden in the cafe before this game started when I went for a bottle of water, and he was saying he was absolutely gutted to lose on a 1-bowl shootout. Such a big prize at the end of this for whoever wins. There we go, there's Michael Layden with the sunglasses hanging off his t-shirt. Sandra's good lady wife, and sat next to them is Tommy Coombe. Lost out as well in the last round, did Tommy.
Two rate.
This has got to reach Martin. The only trouble is, when you've got to reach, you tend to overreach. Did that with a lot of weight, actually. Very unforgiving, this rink, for that sort of pace, for the sort of shot he was looking at. Better with either a lot of pace or just a draw. Chatting to Perry Martin, it was his first game out there on this rink.
3 rate.
Played very, very well, and it did Perry. But he was saying the same. It just hung off if He just played timing weight. I think an interesting face has just appeared in the crowd as well now. World number 12. Clubman here at Blackpool Newton Hall, Mark Dawes. Pretty sure that was his walk through the door. Lovely to see him come down and support this event. Of course, Mark won this event 2 years back and then went on to get enough points in the ranking WBT events to get himself into the top 16. There you see Mark Dawes. Got himself into the top 16 and now he's up at number 12. Got to the semi-finals of the International Open here back in March. Some really strong players at the club. 3 shots to Billy Jackson. Takes a 9-6 lead. 3 shots up with 2 ends to play. I'm pretty sure Mark's coming to sit very close to the boss man, Trevor Kearsley. Like I say, big supporter of bowls. That's why we're very fortunate to have Blackpool Newton Hall to come to as a venue. The Kearsleys, who are the bosses at the Partington's Holiday Group. Of course, the owner was George Partington. He created all this. Had the pleasure of playing with George when I first started playing here over 20 years ago. Sadly died, and there's Trevor, huge supporter of the club. If it wasn't for that man there, we wouldn't be here. Of course, while I'm on about the Partingtons and the Kearsley family, I'll mention the co-op, because without the co-op, their support of bowls is absolutely fantastic through all the codes and at the various different levels, at club level right through to the TV events. They even sponsor the only televised Crown Green tournament, the Waterloo. Very happy to be involved with the co-op on the Waterloo event. And they sponsor the European Masters, the Scottish International Open and the International Open. Huge supporters of the game.
3 ring. Your bowl's 3 feet. Last bowl, 7 inches.
Quite interesting, because if we trace this back to end 3, where Billy missed the target and dropped to 3, all of a sudden Billy's now the one in the driving seat. Martin just missed that, and in all sorts of bother here, Martin Williamson. Really having a good think about this. No shot clock, plenty of time. Takes his time. Slips past the yellow. It might just get wrecked on it. I'll be disappointed with that. He was just looking to slip past that ball, really. A great position at the moment. Hold 3 at end 8. He's already 3 shots up. choosing to play the draw. Gets back to the centre bowl. It's a cracking effort, this from Martin Williamson. What a great bowl. Under so much pressure. Draws shot to keep himself
One
in
shot,
this
Martin
first set.
Williamson.
That was a great pressure bowl from Martin there.
Argue with that one.
We've had a question, my producer tells me, on the chat from a Colin Walker. I'm just wondering if it's the Colin Walker. If it is the Colin Walker, a big shout out, Colin. Thought you might have been here this weekend. Hope you're keeping well. At a rough guesstimate, just off the sheets I've got in front of me here, Colin, I think there was about 48 over the 2 tour cards. And of course, we've had 1 or 2 dropouts, but any member of the
Nice bill.
PBA could have played
Last
in
bowl,
this.
5 inches short.
It's an open event. Well, I hope that answers your question. Most players have got 5 games here to win a tour card. Slightly different format from where we played tour cards last year. Seems to have been a very popular way to run the event from the feedback we've had, so that's down to the powers that be at the World Bowls Tour as to what they decide to do with it next year, and of course the sponsors. The sponsors have a big say in how these things are brought together. And the Co-op are huge sponsors of our streaming coverage.
One red.
So just while I'm doing a shout out, I'm sure my producer can tell me if the reply comes back in from Colin. Is it the Colin Walker?
One red.
Thank you for that, Mr. Producer. Apparently it sounds like it is the Colin Walker. Don't have time for Colin. He's a good friend, and also he and my dad shared occupations. My dad's now retired, but they're both involved in the timber business, so a lot in common. I always find something to chat about. No doubt listening in because of Martin Williamson being on the rink. Now, can this move? Just unfortunate.
One red.
Of course, I've got to remember that Martin's got to score a 2 out of this end.
Two shots. First set, Billy Jackson.
Nice free shot for Billy there. Takes the first set 11-7 against the man from Ardrossan, Martin Williamson. Billy Jackson from the Lincoln Indoor Bowls Club. I'm sure there's a few round the screen down there watching. A few friends at Lincoln. Love going through to Lincoln. Just wish the club was slightly closer because it's one of the nicest surfaces and quickest surfaces to play on. And of course managed there by Danny Brown. Well, Martin, set 2. To make your stamp on this, but it's not easy to do with Billy. Like I say, very aggressive player when heads are building up against him. Just try and get some scores for you from the other rinks. Billy looks under the line here. Turned his back on that one. Wasn't happy with that at all.
One red. And your last bolt short. The gap is 18 inches.
Tommy Hatch, one of the newer members of the World Balls Tour team. This is his first full year as a member of the umpiring team. He's here this week with Dan McManus, the 2 newbies, with the head umpire, one in charge of them all, Alan Thornhill,
One red.
here to keep them all under control. Great effort from Billy there. It might have just sat out, but it didn't.
2 red.
Oh, just having a bit of a natter there to our Sheila. Sheila and Ron sat there, club members, just love to support. Normally here as stewards, but Sheila's not been too well recently, so not just up to stewarding, but big supporters of the game. Just to let you know, the first sets on the other games, the Taylor versus Wilgress game, Wayne Wilgress has won the first set. Simon Skelton versus Scott Bishop, Simon Skelton's won the first set. And the Paul Hartley, Brian Hawkins game, Paul Hartley's won the first set. It's always interesting when the news comes in from the other rinks, because obviously we can't see how people are playing, and I was just looking at Paul Hartley's taken the first set. He struggled out on the main TV rink earlier. Must have found his game to get back into this. Two conceded.
3 shots. Billy Jackson.
So again, Billy changing things, making things happen. 3 at the first end of the second set, a set that Martin Williamson has got to win. from Martin there. Really needs to put on a bit of pressure,
Last bowl,
force Billy into
fraction
playing the
short of
shots.
jack high.
Might go touch and jack.
Yes. One yellow.
I think he's just under the line again here. You might come and have a look at this now, Billy, because he doesn't want to play it with a lot of weight, or he'd actually possibly send his own bowl out the head if he caught the bowl and not the jack. He's 3-0 up, he's won the first set. A lot of people think of Billy Jackson as the player that plays the big runners, but of course, the years that he won the World Indoor Pairs Championships, he actually led for David Gourlay. So, you know, he's a very good 2-bowl lead. Very smooth, consistent delivery, Billy. Certainly watching this. Got to make it back. Great effort.
One yellow.
Makes it even harder for Martin to score a double at this end. Great shot of the bowls there from ditch cam, and the angle that Martin Williamson's bowl sat against that jack. Effort. He might have actually even made it. Brave.
2 shots, Martin Williamson.
If you can't stay with us, you'll pick up all the results on worldbowlstour.tv. There are 4 more games on at 5:30 today, which concludes the quarterfinals in these 2 tour cards. We've got Paul Maynard playing Danny Dennison. Perry Martin faces Charlie Benz. That would be an interesting game. And Richard Maddison plays Jason Parkinson. And the game on your TV rink is Gary Smith versus Chris Gale. from Willie there. Hanging about when Martin's played a loose bowl. Martin, left-handed as you see, back down his forehand, our backhand. All on your pace with this one. Swoop all the way back to the centre of his good pace.
One red. Between two bowls, 7 inches.
Room for you in there, Billy. 7 inches, no problem. Almost played that to order, Billy.
There's the one outside there. About a half an inch past jack high. The shot, there's a gap of 2.5 inches. Two red.
Now what do you do, Billy? Playing down the backhand to cover the back bowl in case Martin decides to reach up to this. Just wants this just to be behind.
Two red. Two shots, Billy Jackson.
time when Martin really needs to put bowls close, just test Billy out. Just short from Billy.
One yellow.
Just an adjustment on his last bowl, Billy Jackson here. In the area, wants the jack. Got a nice little nudge off the ball of
One red.
Martin Williamson to put him back onto the jack. 5-2 up. The winner of this game plays the winner of the Trevor Taylor Wayne Wilgress game in the semi-finals on this rink tomorrow at 4:30. Not sure how that game's going out there with Wayne Wilgress and Trevor Taylor. I know he
One red.
won the first
Well, past
set,
the
did
jack.
Wayne?
About a quarter of an inch past.
On a nice wide line, Billy. Making it back to the yellow bowl is what he's after. Sit it out. Just overplayed it, great line. Again, not easy for Martin here, but if he can just reach to the Billy Jackson green bowl and sit it down, he's got a chance of 2 shots. Certainly on a good track. What's your weight like, Martin? Got to reach this green bowl. I think the calipers might be brought into use here from Tony Hatch. So we have 3 World Bowls Tour umpires at the venue this weekend, but as there are games going on other rinks, the marker is umpiring as well. You've got the quality of these lads, you can do that. Shows you how close the green bowl of Billy Jackson's is. Can't quite see the... One to Billy, 6-2 after 4
One
ends.
shot. Billy Jackson.
Bit of thought there on what sort of length to play. 6-2 up, 4 up, 5 ends to play. Won the first set. Building up to be a cracking weekend of bowls. Semi-finals start tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. And Next one's at 11:30. Then we have 2:30 and 4:30. Because we've got 4 semi-finals, because we've got 2 tour cards. And then on Sunday, the final of tour card 1 is on at 10:30, and the final of tour card 2 is on at 1:30. So if you are in the area and do fancy popping down, free admission. Sure, by the standard of some of the bowls we've seen already these 2 days, the weekend should be a good one. Stay with us after this game because we've got another cracking game on the cards. Gary Smith, I believe, played very, very well this morning. It was a game I didn't see. Versus homester Chris Gale on a rink that Chris Gale practices a lot. But on a rink that Gary Smith knows very well. I think we're in for another cracking game to finish the day off.
The last one. About 14 inches. Short ball, the gap is 8 inches.
It's due to go on about 5:30. But of course that depends on the situation with this game.
One red.
Billy's holding shot, but he's sort of blocked himself in off his own favoured forehand. His own ball is right on the drawing line, forces him to swap to the backhand.
Two red. 10 inches. Your last ball.
Another fantastic
Gap
ball from
is
Billy there.
14 inches.
As we mentioned in the game before that Perry Martin won. Perry was the more consistent game, or consistent player against Graham McDougall at the moment. Billy's the more consistent player in this game. It's like we might have some news on the other games. After 6 end in the Taylor-Wilgress game, Trevor Taylor's 7-5 up.
Two red.
After 5 ends in the Skelton-Bishop game, it's 6 across. And Paul Hartley's leading after 4 ends against Brian Hawkins, 8-2. Hopefully that keeps everybody informed. Oh, Billy. Forced to play back on his forehand. Just slip past his own, it'll be very good.
Two red.
Martin just had a sneaky look across there at the scores. He's obviously aware he's still got 5 ends left to play, but if it's 2 against him... Oh, Billy Jackson, what a character, shaking his head. Billy's won the World Championships and national titles and been an international player. Stood down from a lot of things for a short while because
2 shots, Billy Jackson.
he'd lost his motivation. He's now got it back. He's keen to get back into these events and try and get himself back into the top 16. And he takes an 8-2 lead after 5 ends in the second set. Decent opener from Billy. Not have to do anything too fancy here now for Billy. 4 ends to play, just wants to match Martin's bowls. Martin's got to score 7 in 4 ends. He's got to win the set to take us to a tie break. Now Billy just needs to stop him counting any counts. 1 an end is not enough for Martin.
Three red.
This isn't
Two red.
helping the Martin Williamson cause. Two short bowls, 1 through. Might have to look at something to try and change something here. Trying to play neat draws, not easy when you've struggled with your pace on an end. I'm just coming to have a look at this now. I mean, he has drawn some superb bowls over the day, so there is the draw. Even if he rests on Billy's bowls and it sits back. 4 hands, very nice, playing in this direction, just sit off it. It's his backhand. Played it more aggressive, reaching bowl. There's holes for bowls here. He's got to get that jack clean. I think it might be a question of start the
Two
car
shots,
for
Billy Jackson.
Martin Williamson here. 3 ends to go. He's 8 behind. Billy's not the sort of man to let go of a stranglehold like this on a set. Must-win end here for Martin Williamson. Billy will know that. Won't be any panicking on Billy Jackson's side. He's got a very comfortable lead here in 8 shots with 3 ends to go. Whether he's travelling home tonight. He certainly travelled all the way from Lincoln this morning for a 9:30 start. We were having a bit of a chuckle about that earlier. Well, you can have a chuckle about most things with Billy, to be fair. Certainly come on to a very good game now.
2 red.
Chance for Martin to rest that, but remembering that really 1 shot is not good enough for Martin. Needs to be picking up counts now, 2s and 3s. 3s ideally. Needs a jack. Oh, holes for bowls. That's what happens when you start to try and chase games. Bowls just go against you. Billy will be very quick to cover that bowl. Doesn't need to be near the head. He's holding a match-winning lie. Great bowl there. Forced Martin to go more aggressively. Got the jack. Where's it go? Oh, straight to Billy's bowl. Well, it's a definite start the car moment now. Again, Billy just looking for the cover. If it stays on at the back, well, I don't really know what sort of shot Martin's got here. Got all bases covered as Billy the Wizard Jackson. This bowl needs to change something, needs to be holding 1 or 2. Ideally more than that to give himself a chance here, Martin. All on this bowl. Not sure he can conjure up anything against the Wizard here. Under the line. 2 shots to Billy Jackson and he takes the second set and moves into the
2 shots.
semi-finals tomorrow afternoon at 4:30. Join us after a short break. I think the game's scheduled for 5:30 for Gary Smith versus Chris Gale. Join us after this break.